Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the finals of European Summer Circuit. This is week 8. This is for all the marbles. We've got two teams here, the juggernauts, the giants of Europe, facing off Torpedo and D69. They fought in Sweden. They fought online before and after, and this determines it all. We've got Thiel on the side of Torpedo. We've got him playing the Grok. Bird will be on the Ying. Spunkii on the Eevee. Laizy on the Cassie. And SunCommander will be playing the Androxes. And my lovely co-commentator, Vox Tempest, go ahead and take it away for who D69 brings to the battle.
Well, D69, they still have their sub of creatives playing Androxes. PERDO will be running Victor straight back again from the last set. Shipa on Grok, bugzy on Drogos, and gerrah still on that Cassie. So the flex pick here, we've got Grok versus no Grok. No Grok on both teams. It is actually going to be, what's interesting to me is we're seeing Ying pulled out in a finals game by Bird. We've seen them play this before, but not to much success. But as we have seen in previous games today, Ying, with some changes, has actually become a devastating force, which has been thoroughly underestimated in previous games.
I have not underestimated Ying at all in my game. She has been absolutely devastating to me. Her damage output can be so tremendous. She can literally burst an Eevee down in less than a second if she shatters and hits her full basic attack onto her. So we'll see what kind of effect Bird has as he's still aggressing onto the point in this little choke here right behind the waterfall of the Temple Isle. And look at this, Grok forced into the Ghost Walk so early. The Shatter Illusion is chasing after Shipa, but still no kills have come the way, and actually Bird gets taken down, Vox. So far, Ying may not have worked the way they've seen it to, or expected it to.
Well, honestly, I think that the Ying has worked out so far. I mean, the kill deficit, that's unfortunate there, but look at Torpedo, they're holding control of the objective. The respawns have come through, and what's most important for me right there is that Ying was able to continually output illusion pressure. She continually activated Shatter, which meant that Bird supplying this constant damage allowed nobody to heal up out of combat, and that's crucial, as it allowed Torpedo to start taking this early advantage. Now, it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and 90 points on the first objective. D69 do have retake potential here, but it's going to be difficult.
No ultimates available yet for anyone on any team. Creative's taking a lot of hits from SunCommander, who was on the Fernando last week, and now he's going to go back to safety, playing his famous Androxes. Spunkii on the left-hand side, though, trying to find a way to get in on the team of D69, who is taking control of the point. And SunCommander getting bursted down there by bugzy with the kill, dropping him down. And now it looks like D69 have a firm advantage, although Spunkii has taken down PERDO.
Oh, and look at this. The respawns are coming through from Torpedo, but they're so staggered. Bugzy activating Dragon Punch, looks for Thiel, can't find him. Doubles back, still can't find anybody as Laizy gets out of the dodge with a fantastic dodge roll, but will be picked up around the corner by the double tap of the Fire Spit explosion. Bugzy looking like they had the double kill there with just so much damage coming out of that Fire Spit reset right there on the cooldown, thanks to the card Masterful 4.
Bugzy gets another kill, too, onto Spunkii. It is nasty how much damage he is doing with this Drogos. He is just so good at this champion, and he's about to die. Of course, cursed of the commentator there, but just before then, being an absolute rock for the side of D69 and putting out the damage every carry should be expected to do. Bird here on the Ying, still trying to find his rhythm. He's 0-3, Vox, and talk to me about what's gone right, what hasn't gone right for this Ying pick.
Well, you know what hasn't gone right so far is I've seen no ultimates come out of Bird so far. I don't think they've had the ultimate charge. They've had it for a little while, running morale boost, but we actually didn't see that utilized during any of the all-important captured team fights. Now it has to be either saved for the recap with the next round or used on defense if necessary. So what I'd like to see is Bird, maybe with a few more burn cards in hand, start to pick up a little bit more viability and use Ying a little bit more trickily. We saw her kind of go for a face-on approach beforehand, and when you're trying to box out against a Cassie head-to-head, that just does not work.
Well, talk to me about this Disappear 4 card and, prioritizing this card above any other in Ying's kit. The ability to slow enemies. What is he thinking with this loadout?
Well, it's not just a particular card which supports just you. So for starters, when you land all 5 hits of your mirror, you are able to slow enemies. That will allow your illusions to confirm shatter damage onto them more easily. But it's not just the benefit that it has to Bird. It's the benefit that it has to the rest of Torpedo. If all those hits land, it's going to slow down enemies. So that makes it all the more easy for Laizy to land those arrows, for SunCommander to land those Androxes shots. But speaking of which, they're taken straight out by gerrah, which potentially opens up the flank of Torpedo for D69 to begin pushing through.
And it looks like the payload is finally starting to move. A nice grenade through the wall, and now Ying forced to illusion, but she illusions into trouble. Bird gets taken out by Bugzy, and now Spunki's in trouble as well. The hit scan potentially going to take him out, but he saves his life and survives another day. Here's the Dragon Punch, and it takes down Laizy. Thiel and Laizy both go down in the blink of an eye, Vox, and now it looks like D69, with only 8 seconds ticking down, might have a chance to convert this payload.
Well, you say that, but it's going to go into overtime very shortly here, even though Bugzy looks to push out with some spawn camp pressure right now. The respawns have come through in time because the payload isn't moving fast enough, but up in the air, actually, no, it's going to be Creatives dropping the Accursed down. There's a Tempest for the full zone. Somebody has to get back on the payload. It's going to be spunkii this time, but they can't hold that long as the damage keeps on coming through. The Victor damage onto Laizy is huge from PERDO right here. There's nobody left to contest it, and D69, they will push through with a full team wipe advantage and net themselves 2 early points over Torpedo.
This is huge. I mean, what a play. I thought it was an early Tempest from Shipa, but apparently things work out as we head into the base here. And let's look at the burn cards and some of the decisions some of these champions and players are making.
So despite the fact that Torpedo actually took a loss there, a double loss, losing the objective and the conversion, they've got enough credits to stack up a Kronos card on Thiel and spunkii. And this is so crucial to me because having that cooldown reduction, that 15% cooldown reduction provided by Kronos on both Grok and Eevee is fantastic for having their abilities back up online more often. You have more blinks, more swords, more healing totems, more ghost walks. But look at this, Shipa on the other side has one of their own, which means they're going to be matched. And they additionally have a cauterize. There's 4 cauterizes from D69. That's going to shut down almost all healing from Torpedo. It's going to make it very difficult for Torpedo to actually kind of get entrenched, which is what they're relying on with their team composition.
And now, here is that Bird ultimate you were talking about. The illusions do come out, but it doesn't matter. PERDO gets the kill. A nice grenade throw off the wall is going to do some damage and allow gerrah to pick up spunkii as well. As Thiel is on the point, forced to ghost walk away, is the shaman there. And now it looks like PERDO still being able to use the barrage now on the SunCommander, but he's going to go down, and that's a wasted ult on the Victor.
But still, D69 getting cap advantage right now. Oh, around the backside as well. Quick popped off. spunkii just evaporated there by a rapid play. And we're seeing on this particular objective, on the lowdown island point, Burgess isn't really able to provide much clone pressure because all of those Ying illusions are being destroyed before they reach shatter proximity. They're not getting any of that big burst damage off that they need to. And Burgess forced to cower around the corner away from some of the enemies and can't provide the mirror damage.
But Bird finally, as we say that, finally gets his first kill. And though it does look like D69 had the advantage here, slaying Thiel and Laizy as a response, and of course taking down Bird a lot earlier, he did show the damage that he can put out, almost bursting a Grok from full health to nil in less than a second.
So whilst the respawns are starting to come through, Bird is back on the objective right now, and there was a bit of zone pressure. Whoa, good grief, what just happened there, Rain?
Damage, damage, damage. Now Creatives is up in the air. This is looking like a problem for D69, but Bird finally gets taken down. And Thiel, however, takes down Creatives, and PERDO able to do the damage to Thiel. So Vox, I mean, Bird's still showing that he can have an impact, just not the consistent one I think they were hoping on, as this capture point is still looking either way.
Well, it's going in D69's favor right now. It's 98. Somebody has to step on there. It's going to be Shipa, but actually spunkii and Bird both contesting for a second. Will tick it into overtime. Thiel is back for the time being. They have a totem and some chain lightning damage, but 1 versus 3. There is no way they can stand up to the raw power, especially coming out of Bugzy's Drogos. For the second time this game, and only 8 minutes in, D69 have a second objective capture. They now lead 3 points upright, and they're going to start trying to break through the blockade of Torpedo's defense.
Now talk to me. How do they go about doing this? What do you think is the idea? Torpedo seems to have had little to no advantage in this game. What's the strategy? What are they thinking? And how do they get themselves back in this match?
So with no backline diver like Eevee, I'm seeing a couple of potential openers right now. We've got long-range pet pressure and long-range poke coming out, just gradually chipping down Torpedo. But with the illusions coming out of Bird and the ability to just hide around the corner and spam those onto the payload objective, I feel like that's going to be a little bit less effective. Now, one other way which they could really crack the defense open is utilizing Dragon Punch. We see that Bugzy has it available right now, and whilst Tempest isn't exactly something you want to use until you're confirming the objective push, Dragon Punch onto a high-value target, maybe SunCommander on Androxus or Laizy on Cassie, might actually turn the tide for D69 and allow them to start getting those staggered respawns and completely break through this defense.
Absolutely here, and it looks like Ying still deploying the clones, trying to find a way to continue to apply the pressure without getting taken down quickly herself. A clone's going to go into the shatter, but gets destroyed, just like you said, Vox, instantly. And now there's the pincer move. However, it looks like gerrah ends up dodge rolling away from danger and into the lake, going for a swim, but that sends him back to base. Always interesting to see pro players do that, Vox. Lets us know we're not the only ones.
Coming in, the water's lovely. Thiel using Tempest here actually tries to get some damage off, picks up one kill into bugzy, but is quickly answered back. That's a bit of a wasted cooldown right there, and it's not even a cooldown, it's a charge-based ultimate. So we now have Shipa with Tempest available, PERDO with Barrage, and bugzy with Dragon Punch. Creatives almost has the Accursed Arm ultimate available, and meanwhile, Thiel has no reactionary Tempest to respond to some of the aggression which might come out of D69. Whilst they're contesting the payload for the time being, it'll take a little while to stack it back up, and here comes the Tempest from Shipa.
Creatives with a triple kill right now, though. This man is on fire. The sub for D69 taking Elven Path's spot and taking it with a commanding performance. 17 and 7 and 15, a slash line that any player would be happy about. And here's the Accursed Arm. He's going to take down 2 as well with the help of PERDO, and now SunCommander's on his list, and bugzy finishes that off with a Dragon Punch of his own. And now Thiel almost gets knocked off, and he does. bugzy with the Fire Spit sends Thiel over for a swim as well, and D69 are looking dominant and poised to take this game right off of Torpedo's hands.
It all rests on spunki's shoulders right now as a great blink ice block will keep the payload contested for the time being. Torpedo, they don't have any ultimates, neither do D69, but spunki is almost at Blizzard. If they can stay alive and put some pressure out, it might turn things around. They've already been taken down. There's nobody left to contest right now. Thiel on the objective as Grok, 1 versus 5, gets evaporated, and that'll be all she wrote, folks. That is the game going to D69 in 4-point sweep style against everything we expected in the final week of the Paladins Summer Circuit.
What a game, Vox. That was just a dominant performance by D69, but it was also a really cool showcase. We saw Ying out there, didn't do too well. Again, the stat line 15 and 12 probably doesn't showcase that, you know, in terms of actual kills and deaths. She was probably on the higher end of deaths as a champion. And again, all times we've seen Ying picked up, we've seen probably that champion switched out, except for some of the earlier matches. We've seen if it doesn't work, you switch it out and you kind of go the standard route. Again, it doesn't work for Torpedo. So I want you to make a bet. I want you to make a guess. Does Bird keep this Ying, or does he switch it out with another champion? And if so, who?
They already have an Eevee on their side. It's going to be Victor. I think we're going to see the mirror comp come out here with the exception of Drogo's. They need anti-air right now. Although Bird can provide some of that, Bird is so squishy and has a lack of maneuverability, which is based around a time-based bit of an erratic cooldown. It relies on illusion placement that bugzy can potentially just shut them down. As a result, seeing a Victor come out for the anti-hair and also potentially the range cauterize application onto Shipa and taking out that totem with a good frag grenade could really turn things in Torpedo's tide. Now, the next map up will be Glacier Keep. We remarked in the very first set of this round when Ying was being run to a very high degree of success that Ying just wasn't as effective on Glacier Keep because the flanking routes where Ying is good at getting around behind and kind of bombarding enemies with clones are closed off. Therefore, if Eevee takes that position, then either I suspect we're going to see a shield come out of some description or it's going to be Victor.
I would like to see a shield, but we'll have to wait until next game to see what these two top-tier teams in Europe go ahead and select for their next champion lineup. Of course, if you don't play Paladins, go ahead and download this game right now. It's free to download, and you could go ahead and check out the champion roster yourself, see how you fare, and see which champion you think they should pick up. Of course, for a new player, it might be a little difficult to make those adjustments, so might want to stick with what Vox says. But until then, we're going to hang out. We'll see you guys in Game 2 for the next matchup here. Torpedo versus D69. D69 up 1-0. Don't go anywhere. Back, champions of the realm. My name is Rainday. Joining me today is Vox Tempest. We've got the finals of the European Summer Circuit here. Week 8. It all comes down to this between D69 and Torpedo. We've had some switch ups. We'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, D69 takes game 1. This is game 2 on Glacier Keep. Now, Laizy is picking up the Kinessa, while Thiel is on Grok, Bird is on Drogo, spunkii on Eevee, and SunCommander on Androxus. While D69, Vox?
Well, they are just running the exact same thing which they did beforehand, and I feel like I've said this a lot of times so far, this set, this series, this day, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it worked so well for them previously. Now, I predicted potentially we might see a Victor come out for Torpedo, but Laizy picking up Kinessa provides the same degree of anti-air, except on this first point, which is the revamped mines point, which is a very close quarters area, and there's very little actual space for Kinessa to shine here.
I mean, this is what we need to see. This is what we want. You know she's going to get targeted immediately, but can she survive? That is what it really is all about. And although she's taking so much attention, Bird and Spunkii get all the kills that they need onto D69, and only Bugzy is alive, and now Kinessa looks to finish it off, and she's going to do it with a carbide, not even going to scope in for that one. And now Torpedo have the distinct advantage here. It is going to be very hard for them to break in on this Kinessa and this Eevee, who are just totally forward zoning here.
Would somebody be able to just remind me, was that a great bait or what? And it was Kinessa actually forced to transport out of danger as some pressure starts coming out. Should be run down on the backside. Actually, Shipa picking up SunCommander there. And if there's anybody who's going to turn it around for D69 right now, it is Shipa on Eevee, able to provide that dive pressure and start taking out these high-value backline targets.
And now it looks like gerrah has his sights on Spunkii, and actually onto Spunkii, gerrah goes, and that's a kill for the man with the female bow champion on his mouse and keyboard there. Cassie doing all the work, and he's just shooting arrows into the void where he expects teammates to be coming, and now SunCommander trying to make his way back, but D69 already have the advantage again. It's just so amazing how these things can switch back and forth so quickly, Vox.
Oh, it certainly is, and now Laizy on Kinessa in the underground area, starting to push out a little bit more, trying to get some good lines of sight. Now, we've had a change to Kinessa in the previous patch, with her transporter being a lot slower now, less of the instant relocation, more of the... effectively, I'm going to go from point A to point B, and it's very controlled. So with Kinessa being able to escape less easily from Eevee, I love the fact that the team are actually giving a bit of support, but then, as you said previously, going using her as bait and then going for the entire backline. We do see Torpedo capturing the first objective now. They're going to start breaking through the choke point that D69 have been defending.
And that was a really strong defense there by Torpedo. I think it's just because they had two goes at it that allowed D69 after, that allowed them to take advantage there. D69 obviously losing the initial fight very, overwhelmingly to Torpedo, and their Kinessa play and the bait that came and the squishies that were picked up by Spunkii on the side of Torpedo. So now it looks like more of the same as they get this payload out of the base. And tell me, what does Kinessa need to do to stay alive here? Because you know the pressure is coming.
Oh, the pressure is absolutely coming. Being mobile is absolutely one of the most key things she can do. Not being stuck into the same position as, SunCommander, actually using reversal to absorb a fire spit so the big explosion damage doesn't come out. And, well, being mobile, not staying in one place so Eevee can track her down and run her down is going to be so crucial here. That's just what happens as Shipa does dive in deep to the backside and pick up the double kill.
And there's almost not anything you could do at that point. The damage is so strong, especially after blinking, getting that 30% extra bonus damage onto your ice staff there. And the ice block's going to come out from Spunkii, and that's going to force creatives to dash away. He's going to go in and soar into the air, but gerrah picks him off with a pinpoint arrow. And just for the time being, while the boys of D69 begin to forward zone Torpedo.
That was really nice aiming from gerrah. It's not often we see a Cassie player who is that precise with their shots. Hitting an Eevee in midair, that is difficult work to do, especially because whilst you do have a faster projectile, it is still a projectile-based shot. So good to see these players showcasing the champions to the best of their ability. Currently, Creatives is going to be trying to defend the payload, but a Curse Arm comes out from SunCommander, picks up one. Will he find the double kill into Creatives? He will. He's going to keep on going, but I think Bugzy with Dragon Punch might even things out, but still the payload is starting to push through this little underground area as Tempest comes through on the backside onto gerrah.
What a play by gerrah to avoid the damage from the Tempest. A nice dodge roll, and he's actually gonna now go down at the hands of SunCommander. Torpedo want to push through this chokehold. They need to push through this chokehold to get a 2-0 advantage and make sure they can clean up this game and tie things up, but D69 is holding so well. And Shipa now looking to finish off any of the targets that might be remaining, and there goes Spunkii, and he's right on to Laizy, but gets taken down real quick by Bird.
Well, you know what? I'd tell you what, as Torpedo choosing not to engage their bird, not going forwards, not wanting to feed the enemy team any more credits. That's not the only thing. The payload is not the only thing that D69 were holding, however. Look at the ultimate charges on the scoreboard right now. Only Laizy has Headhunter available for the next objective, whereas PERDO has Barrage. Creatives with Accursed Arm and Shipa with that Ice Storm coming out of Eevee could land some disgusting combinations, especially if they can cripple out Thiel on Grok early on into this point fight. Burn cards as well. We're seeing a lot of sustain cards coming out and only one Cauterize on Thiel. District 69 should logically have the advantage here, but Creatives, again, the only player with Cauterize, might find it difficult to shut down the healing coming out of Thiel's healing totem.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Creatives also is going to use that counter, that anti-heal for the Kinessa, as if he gets a shot on her before she transports, she's not going to be able to take advantage of Restore 4, which is that card that allows her to get that 40% of the maximum health back when she transports. And of course, now it looks like Gerrah and D69 trying to have a better fight than they did before Vox, not get taken out so immediately, but spunkii has something to say about that.
Well, let's continue talking about Kinessa, and the positioning is, oh, Shipa goes in looking for the kill, but it's actually sniped out on the way. It takes a lot of damage, it's finally cleared up after a blink, but you cannot run from this Headhunter right here. And Laizy on the top side, on the high ground, in his old Mines Point, is able to take a commanding view of the entire battlefield and the opponent's spawn area from where they're standing right now, which is perfect for the long line of sight it provides and the defensive cover, which she is then able to provide.
Yeah, and so keep chatting with me. You wanted to mention a point about Kinessa?
Oh, exactly. No, that's exactly what I was going with. Laizy able to be... it's the positioning which they were taking. Right up there, able to sort of hold things down.
Got it. Yeah, I thought we were, you know, to me, I think the interesting aspect is the fact that she's able to sneakily be in these spots that if their team is aware, if you have a protective team and can really support you in staying, like I said, slippery. I think that's a very good term for Kinessa because that transporter can put you at a decent distance, give you your health back as a nice snipe comes out from the sniper there on Torpedo. It can be a very, very difficult task, especially for champions like Victor, who only have their sprint, or Androxus, who only have a couple dashes now, not 3, to keep up with a Kinessa who's being properly defended by her team.
So the primary target, which Torpedo needs to be very well aware of and very careful of, is going to be Shipa on Eevee. As you see, Shipa does actually manage to connect an elimination there onto Laizy in the backside. But they're really the only champion that can actually lock them down on specific objectives like Waterfall, where there is where there's maybe a height difference, there's verticality here. There's no easy way to access Kinessa unless you have abilities like Blink and Soar.
Absolutely, and now it's just looking like a bloodbath. Nobody's really moving either way here. Thiel's finally getting a little bit of room to push the payload, but most of all, the fight is trying to be tilted. These pro players with so much on the line for EU, trying to make a distinct advantage before they go into this next choke point. But at the moment, Shipa and the boys of D69 are making it very, very difficult, forcing Grok's Ghostwalk there. Thiel having to retreat behind cover, and PERDO looking to just get a little bit more engaged in this fight. He hasn't been as effective as he has been in some of these other matches. 3-7 is his stat line.
That is very surprising for PERDO. However, I feel like playing Victor against this specific team comp, there's nowhere for him to run if he gets chased down by spunkii. If he walks out into the open, he's barraged by Laizy's shots from a distance. It's a very difficult match to him to fight into, even though he provides the primary source of anti-air for their team alongside creatives on Androxus, trying to get Bird out of the air. But you know what? I feel like PERDO's split. He's split between focus fire on too many different champions, and as a result, he's unable to be as effective as he otherwise would be.
Right, and that is ultimately being seen in the stat line, in the effectiveness of them being able to capture these points, especially when Kinessa's able to get set up. Kinessa, played by Laizy, also just took out PERDO a moment ago, and now he's trying to find some revenge on the Thiel, but a Tempest comes out and he can't do anything but just run a little bit. Oh, he looks like he didn't get his jogging in this week, and he's not fast enough there to go ahead and get away from the Tempest, as Bird slays Bugzy as well, and this payload is going to continue to push. There's only so much time, and this may just be a 2-0 successful capture by Torpedo, and it is. The score is 3-1, Vox. Torpedo looking very strong in game 2.
A completely different Torpedo to the one we saw last game where they got 4-0 by D69, and as a result, I mean, where's the switch up coming from here? We could look and say it's all about Laizy, and Laizy's stat line reflects that being 12, 7, and 11. However, I don't feel like it's all just about Laizy. Bird running Drogas instead of Ying, having undeniably more of an impact than they did on Ying previously, but maybe it's also the map change. If Glacier Keep is Torpedo's map and Temple Ruin is District 69's map, it could go all the way to that best of 5 full set if they keep on trading games. Burn cards coming out of the scoreboard before we do proceed to the next objective. Once again, Haven take as a priority for almost everybody, but a lot more cauterized cards picked up for Torpedo this time, recognizing that D69 going for massive sustain cards could be potentially just wasting credits.
Absolutely. I want to make sure any healing is going on. I want to make it as quick as possible to kill these champions, as a Dragon Punch does come out looking for the kill. Bugzy takes down SunCommander. Creatives in the air with the accursed arm, going away from Bird and using the reversal to stay alive, and Creatives gets the double kill. What a play. This sub looking like a strong, solid member.
All of that reversal damage right there is undeniably just something you cannot contest, especially when you consider what Drogas' rockets. Tell me, Rain, how much damage do they do?
I believe it's about 1,000 per pop right now.
And so if you fire those into reversal, you fire 2 rockets into reversal by mistake or land a double tap into reversal. Good grief. That's a lot of damage coming straight back at you.
Yeah, he's like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean it. Let me take those rockets back. And the Androxus catches him with his own damage. And now it's 3-2 on the side of D69, thanks to Creatives. Very creative use of that reversal and a great play there. And now D69 look like they found their rhythm. We were wondering, is it Glacier Keep? Is it the lineup? Maybe it's just the play.
Honestly, when you're at the top tier, both teams have to be able to perform at the same level or perform at a very high level on each individual map. You can guarantee that they've both been practicing it, and they should be relatively equal here. However, we're seeing the payload start to push completely unhindered through the first major choke under this little balcony area, and all the meantime, this is what's really important right here. They have a Kinesidoo Torpedo. They're looking for the advantage. Laizy actually boxes out. Good grief, that was boxing out Shipa on the backside just with the carbine, and this long line of sight is where she's really going to come into play.
This is going to be a tough route for D69 to make it through. You mentioned the long line of sight, but as a D69 team member, it's really gonna be up to your Eevee to go and get the Kinessa displaced. You've got the mobility and you've got the immunity to get to those places other champions cannot without taking too much damage. But just as we say that, Shipa pokes his head and Laizy takes him out. spunkii also takes down Creatives as well, so 3 members of D69 are on cooldown in base, and only PERDO and bugzy are here. But it looks like they're going to stay and wait for the rest of their teammates, hopefully, to get back before they make one major push. Time is still at about 1 minute, so they got a little bit of time, Box.
Now, my question here is, are Torpedo overextending a little bit? They're holding very aggressively so far. It's worked out quite well, but they're not holding a choke point, and this is slightly concerning to me. Although there is backdoor and ambush potential through one of these choke points, holding out in the open ground here means that, you know, that healing totem from Thiel is going to be very, very vulnerable. And you can actually see, just as I'm saying that, they're starting to all back off and regroup, although Thiel, caught out alone in the open, forcing the Ghost Walk, should be wiped out here, and that's going to open this payload push for D69 completely.
And now it looks like Creatives and SunCommander going to fight each other here in this corridor. Creatives and SunCommander both looking to just go ahead, heal back up, and fighting each other. SunCommander finally gets the better of that Androxus battle, and it looks like Bird and Laizy are able to clean things up. Bugzy does take down Laizy, though, and Shipa is coming back into the fray. This could be a big moment for them to get past this chokehold with a little bit of support, but now it's only Shipa. She's going to blink in and soar near the payload just to pull back. She's got the immunity from Ice Block, so that's going to buy a little bit of time. SunCommander bringing down all of the characters already from D69 before they can even get there, but gerrah and Creatives get 2 huge kills onto spunkii and SunCommander. It's all about them keeping this in the overtime status.
Oh, and it will be kept in overtime for sure as back in blinks Shipa, looking for damage on the backside, finds Bird. No, that's so much damage coming out of everybody. That's almost a full team wipe from Torpedo. They're fully staggered right now, although Laizy managed to get out of dodge. Bugzy will take them out with a great place rocket. SunCommander trying to hold down the fort for the meantime. The respawns are starting to come through. spunkii as well, taken down as Eevee. No Eevee left to contest, but Thiel is back here. With that Ghost Walk available, they will be able to contest the payload quite well, but they're nowhere with it. I think that with Torpedo having the respawn proximity advantage, though, it's going to still go to them, and a triple kill game for Torpedo right on the backside of that offensive or great defense.
I think the only benefit of that push would have been to force Torpedo to get so nervous that they were going to tie it that they used an ultimate there. But no ultimates pulled, showing the class of Torpedo. And it looks like everybody's rearing and ready to go for this next capture point.
Well, we've remarked previously in different weeks and indeed different tournaments that Torpedo are renowned for their trigger discipline with their ultimates, although if you take a look at the scoreboard right now, actually, District 69 and Torpedo almost equal there. Laizy, the only one in the entire game without an ultimate. No headhunter available for you. This is going to be a nail-biter as the combos are ridiculous. Do you think we're going to see an EV initiation, or do you think we're going to see one of the drugs go, you know what, I'm just going to ult here and Dragon Punch?
Dragon Punch. That's what we're going to see. I really think so. The EV initiation, I think, may happen if things get bad, but I want to see a Dragon Punch. Bugzy doesn't look like he's going to be the one to do it because spunkii just killed him, and he also killed gerrah. Laizy takes down Shipa, and Torpedo again steamrolling D69 in this early capture point. Everything just went wrong for the boys of D69.
Well, everything's going wrong for me right here, because this is the objective. This is the one objective in game where Kinessa should not have an easy time. But actually, you know, Torpedo's making up for that slight deficit by putting out so much offensive pressure this round that there is no contest. D69 are so absorbed in trying to deal with the Eevee that they completely ignore everybody else. Although Bugzy with Dragon Punch, is it going to connect onto somebody and maybe turn things around?
Oh my god, he misses it completely. No Dragon Punch. D69, it looks like they're going to lose this game, but of course, I don't want to eat my words. It's just that they've used their critical ultimate to get somebody off the point, and there it is. Torpedo secure the game and tie things up 1-1. Everybody get your mugs, get the fire roasting, get your, get your snacks. It looks like this game, this series is a lot more to come.
Oh, well, it's going to at least 4 games, isn't it? We'll take a look at the scoreboard right here now quickly. And, oh my gosh, Laizy. 75,000 damage, topping the charts across the entire game, making up for the lack of damage on Thiel, and at 38 and 11 as the elimination to death slash line. That ratio is just unbelievable.
I mean, think about that, Vox, and obviously that's what stands out. And Laizy, we know, we've seen it. He's a master at Kinessa at this point, and so many other hit scan like champions who can just do work from the back line. He's so good with his reactions and his aim. But the thing I think that made the most difference for me is seeing Bird on Drogos. I mean, he's now at 53k damage, 24 and 10 eliminations, unless, versus the 15 and 12 that he had before. I mean, I think we saw at least a 50% to maybe 60, 70% increase on Bird. And that's a huge deal when you're, looking at a competitive matchup where every single play, every single person winning their battle matters most. And so I think the switch up for Bird was honestly pretty impressive for me, and a big deal why Torpedo won.
Well, I'm going to agree with you there, but I'm going to point out one stat that we haven't talked about so far in this little bit of analysis with the post-game score, but that's objective time. The second highest in-game is actually Bird on Drogos. Now, we're so used to Drogos being up in the air, difficult to hit, highly maneuverable, going for Dragon Punches, going for the flashy plays. But this time, Bird choosing to lock down the objective, I actually really like this on Glacier Keep, primarily because you can continue to pump out rockets and continue to pump out fire spits by standing on the objective and provide AoE zone without putting yourself in danger of being early eliminated, and just build your ultimate charge and then suddenly come straight out the gate screaming with all of that damage.
Right, yeah, those cooldowns from Masterful 4, just any target that you hit, reducing the cooldown on Fire Spit by 4 seconds, and if you hit multiple targets, well, we'll add another 4 onto that, so it could be pretty much immediate, easily able to provide a lot of pressure and poke into the corridors that he knows the members of D69 have to come back on, since Torpedo pretty much took every single early fight in that game. The thing I want to point out, too, on D69 is Shipa did not have a good game. In fact, probably the worst performer on the side of D69 that round. And we're typically used to seeing Shipa do very, very well, but this Eevee didn't really work for him in this matchup. Why do you think that is? And do you think we'll see a switch up, or do you think he'll keep the Winter Witch?
I think that honestly they'll keep the Winter Witch primarily because I don't expect to see Kinessa back on Temple Ruins. You made the remark off screen that Kinessa has some great lines of sight on Glacier Keep. I do not feel that she has the same luxury on Temple Ruins. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Laizy pull out a Cassie again, in which case Shipa doesn't necessarily have to spend their entire game trying to shut down Laizy before Laizy kills their entire team. I think that's partially the reason why Shipa has a bad slash line this game and a bad stat line overall. Continuing to try and put pressure onto Laizy, just distracting the sniper is a great thing to do, but Torpedo expected it. It was premeditated. They knew what to do in response as well, and as a result, Shipa was just, taken apart. All of their aggressive plays didn't really come to fruition.
You are absolutely correct. We'll see if D69 have a way to adjust or if Torpedo are now in the driver's seat and able to swing this thing 2-1 in their favor, of course, in the finals of the European Summer Circuit. Everyone knows that whoever wins this matchup takes all the marbles. And so stay tuned for Game 3 on Temple Isle. We'll be back in just a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Paladins European Finals for the Summer Circuit. This is Game 3. Both Torpedo and D69, who've been the juggernauts of Europe, have taken a game off each other, and now we find ourselves back on Temple Isle. This is where D69 looked to be the better team, but on Glacier Keep, Torpedo had something else to say. I'm joined today with Vox Tempest, my co-commentator. Let's break down the lineups for who they brought into battle. On the side of D69, gerrah's on Cassie, Creatives on Androxus, Shipa on Grok, PERDO on Victor, and Bugzy is on Drogos. And Vox, who does Torpedo have?
Well, Torpedo's running Bird still on Drogos, SunCommander on Androxus. Laizy is keeping the Kinessa even on Temple Isle. Spunkii on Eevee and Thiel on Cassie. We all know about Thiel's Cassie, how legendary it has been in previous tournaments. He's been playing Grok for the last couple of games, hasn't really been going with the best stat line so far. So we'll see if he can make an improvement with this. And First Blood actually going to District 69 as they take out Spunkii, blinking way, overextending into the backline.
It was. He was blinking much too deep, and he had no response from any of his teammates helping except the long-range support from Kinessa. He actually gets taken down very early, so no Eevee on the side of Torpedo allows Creatives to sneak a few points on to the capture objective. What a reversal there on the Thiel. Double kill coming out from Creatives as well. PERDO actually gets the credit for the one on Thiel, but it was the reversal that did all the damage. And now it looks like, however, Spunkii is back and taking names, getting the kills, and Shipa going in on Bird.
All the meanwhile, there's actually been very little capture objective time gathered. I love where Spunkii is, by the way. Spunkii actually on top of the frog statue there with the water coming out of its mouth. Didn't know you could get up onto that. Didn't know you could stand up there and kind of hide and survey the battlefield. Potentially a great Kinessa sniping spot, but a little bit too exposed to be too useful. Torpedo trying to take some control of this objective, but nobody's willing to step on it until they cleared out the area. This might prove difficult for either team as they don't have a protector. They don't have a tank with shields to support them and give them some backup or shielding as they push forwards for the objective play.
Absolutely, and just the damage. Finally, Spunkii is taken out. He brings gerrah to what seems like an inch of his life, and now is taken out of the battlefield. Laizy's going to expect a little bit of pressure here as Drogos gets taken down, and it's 62 points for Torpedo versus D69. SunCommander getting the kill onto gerrah, and the Dragon's Fury from Bird takes out Bugzy on the side of D69. So Torpedo again with Laizy taking out Creatives, looking to gain a significant advantage.
They still come out on top. Shipa trying to heal up around the corner, but actually Firespit's going to disengage him, dislodge him into the danger zone, and oh my goodness, eliminated by Laizy. As soon as they come around the corner, you can hear Headhunter being activated for the bonus damage right there. Torpedo, they're about to close things out. It might be broken open with Dragon Punch. Is it going to find anything?
It does, and Bugzy gets the kill on the Bird. SunCommander slays him right after, but Creatives takes down Thiel. If SunCommander can go down, that would be huge for D69, and he does look like he gets the kill on the Creatives instead. So D69 can't pull it out. Torpedo, they take point 1 on Game 3, giving them the first objective of this match.
I'd like to point out that Spunkii just completely wasted their Ice Storm ultimate right there. Probably forgetting that when you fire it, the projectile speed of that big globe is a lot slower than it used to be, and when you blink above somebody, fire it in the air, hoping to catch them by surprise, they will most often have plenty of time just to leisurely stroll their way out of its area effect. Doesn't matter, Victor still fell, but that is an ultimate off the board which could have otherwise been utilized better.
Yeah, I mean, catching people off guard, catching those. I find Eevee's ultimate's very good for point setup and some other ultimates. Say you really need to keep a Fernando or a Grok somewhere. Obviously, being able to use, that cripple to keep them in place and set up maybe a Drogo's ultimate that's very easy with the Dragon Punch is a great way to use it. But if you also need to take down that pesky Cassie, that pesky Kinessa, or that pesky Victor is just doing so much damage, one of the ways to make sure they don't go anywhere is just blink in, cripple them, and just shoot him a couple times. Eevee very good at taking out those single targets.
Well, you know who else is good at taking out single targets and multiple targets? It's Shipa on Grok right now, landing a lot of chain lightning damage thanks to the short cooldown on Shock Pulse, making it very difficult for Torpedo to kind of gain any traction as they start to push through. Oh my goodness, gerrah almost disengaged off the map, fortunately pushed from one ledge to the other, passing over open ground and certain death. But Torpedo have no way in right now. SunCommander's Accursed Arm doesn't find anything, and there's no easy way for them to break the blockade.
So what do you think this blockade is about? Because for me, I'm looking at, Creative, SunCommander, Thiel, all of these members fighting against each other and having a little bit of an impasse for most of the match until Laizy can get a pick, or until, Eevee has the ability to put herself in a position to make the backline stop aggressing and, essentially go back to spawn. How do they break this? Is it waiting for Eevee, waiting for Kinessa? What's the real key for Torpedo here?
Well, you say that, and it might actually be on the back of Bird, as I think Bird might have just picked up a triple kill there, looking for the damage on Shipa, finds them Dragon Punch coming out of bugzy as well, tries to find somebody to connect onto, does manage to pick up Laizy, but all the while the payload is slowly pushing towards conversion. And you asked about who are we going to pick off, or how are we going to break the blockade, and really picking off Shipa was so crucial, but with the respawn proximity being so close, I don't think it even matters. No overtime for you, they say, and the scoreboard equalizes to 1-1.
And it's almost a threat. It's almost a negative that ultimates were used for Torpedo to get that push so close, seemingly breaking the line of defense, but now not ending up getting the point, giving D69 that defense point, and going into this next capture point with no ultimate advantage here.
Point spawning.
So D69, as you said, hold the ultimate advantage. Creatives has a Accursed Arm, Shipa with Tempest, and PERDO with Barrage. But so far, Torpedo did a good job at fighting against them on even footing. Triple burn card advantage for D69 though. And with all the cauterize and healing cards on either team, honestly, it's going to come down to the cooldowns for me personally. Haven across the board for the damage reduction, but Shipa running Kronos. If he can provide a little bit more support for the rest of the team than, well, anybody can, as there is no healer on Torpedo, it could give D69 the edge to kind of take this game back in their favor.
Yeah, I'm extremely interested to see how the barrage is used, or if it will get used. Gerrah goes down thanks to Bird, and he's going to thrust on out of there with those Dragon Rocket boosters on his back. The Fire Spit Explosion is going to do a lot of damage, but PERDO seeking him out up on top. He's going to heal up just a bit before PERDO can find him, but PERDO will take down Bird eventually. Androxus looking to get into the air. Creatives, he still looks to have his ultimate. He actually just used it, and he just goes down at the hands of Thiel.
And Thiel, playing a lights-out Cassie right now, is able to make such good use of the maneuverability of dodge roll, able to stay out of danger. Oh my goodness, Spunkii though drops the Ice Storm onto the objective, but actually nets nobody. That means Shipa can Ghost Walk, and D69, they still retain control, as that was a completely wasted combination, finding the picks which they really needed to, or it didn't just happen. Although on the backside of things, we did just see none other than PERDO be flung off the edge of the map into the drink by a great Fire Spit coming out of Bird.
Into the drink. I feel like that's a fantasy epic waiting to be told. And as SunCommander goes up into the Accursed Arm, the only arm that seems accursed is his, as Creative fires on him during his moment of glory, takes him down, going for the double kill. Creative's on a rampage here, trying to get the damage on the Laizy, but she's going to shut that down with the Carbine, transport away. And now it's a little bit of a battle between the Victor and the Kinessa here, seeing who can get the better of it. But Bird comes in and says, hey, I'm a dragon. I kill you first.
Well, here's the issue. Whilst Torpedo have actually taken cap advantage or are holding the space right now, they're at a deficit of close to 70 points. D69 lead 84 up, and whilst Torpedo are starting to take that in their favor, there is sustain from the Grok from D69. They just need one opportunity to kind of break them open with ultimates just for 10-15 seconds, and if D69 can accomplish that, they will take point advantage this game.
I mean, and just for me looking at this, Vox, you know, the difference between some of these last games is seeing how effective Bird is being with this Drogo's play. I mean, even bugzy's having trouble getting taken down with the assistance of spunkii there. And it's just showing how strong, you know, this Drogo's play has been for Bird, who struggled on this map earlier on the game.
Comes down to the champion pick rather than the individual player then, by the looks of things. Going with the, should we say, the more meta pick of Drogo's for the time being, and here comes the Dragon Punch from Bird as well, looking for a target. Can't seem to find anybody with it. A bit of a wasted ultimate there, and this gives D69 retake potential as they're coming in very, very strong.
It's always bad to miss your Dragon Punch, but when you miss your Dragon Punch and then you just die as well, and then you lose the capture objective, that cannot be fun. So Shipa, PERDO, bugzy, Creatives, and gerrah on D69 secure themselves another point and put themselves into a 2-1 lead here on Temple Isle.
Now, if you're D69, you're looking for the conversion here, and honestly, if there's, out of either team comp, if you're going for a payload conversion, I'd give this one hands down to D69. The person who is going to make this possible for them, well, it's going to be bugzy. We're going to see a Dragon Punch probably start things off, but it's going to be Shipa, as we've seen Shipa and also Thiel, previously running Grok, just hold Tempest into the very last push on the conversion and use it to clean up low HP enemies and make that objective play possible.
And while Torpedo didn't have a lot of success last map on this engagement, pushing or defending, D69 did. So we'll see if they could use that experience and the ability to use their ultimates at the right time on some of these very important choke points and, you know, important objective pushes to actually secure another point here, which would definitely put them in the realm of securing this game.
I do, however, feel like when we're talking about objective pushes so far, I do feel like with Shipa running Grok, whilst you might think that D69 have an advantage on the offense, it's going to be difficult for them to get established. I feel like Grok is so much more of a better defensive player rather than an offensive mobile healer like Pip might be able to be. Shipa is going to be escorting the payload for the time being, but if they place their healing totem down, it should be quickly prioritized, as there are no easy corners for it to be hidden around, and as a result, I don't expect this push to be as easy as you might expect for D69.
And that was a really good play and very good awareness. It may not be as easy, especially with Bird playing lights out on this Drogo's. The fire spit should secure the kill, and he does. He's just so dominant right now and staying alive as well, using his ability to just, you know, thrust up into the air to avoid shots. But not only that, look at this ultimate coming out on the side of Shipa. He's gonna take down two with the helps of Creative. SunCommander and Laizy gonna go down, and now he's following up trying to get spunkii, but he gets taken down by gerrah. Now it's one more. The healing totem's gonna switch the transition in his favor, and Thiel goes down as well. Four-man deicide on the side of Torpedo, and this is looking like deja vu.
Deicide, an appropriate term when you're talking about the play that's coming out of the Godslayer Androxus. You're going to see spunkii stalling out the objective for the time being. Barrage actually coming in the backside, though. That will be the defense failing. Actually, no, the defense succeeding as Torpedo somehow managed to stall out and just make enough space for overtime to take down briefly. I don't know what happened there, but that should have been District 69's point. They completely gave that one up.
I mean, was that just not staying in the radius of the payload card? Is that why that didn't tick off? That was very surprising. I expected that to continue going.
Hey guys, we're gonna push it through. Yeah, let's do it. Oh wait, who's on the payload card again? Boop. Overtime's on. Yep. It seems like a very simple mistake, although it could have been forced disengage from, for example, Thiel's Cassie making space or Bird's fire spit explosion. As we go on to the next objective, full burn cards across each team, prioritization of core rise, shutting down the healing from Shipa is Torpedo. They're really looking to have none of that healing totem action, and as a result, it may make District 69's battle an uphill one, but they took the last objective. We'll see if they can do it again right on the top of the cliffs.
And the Dragon's Fury comes up. He's definitely looking for Shipa, and he takes him out. That's a high-value ultimate right there. And the Cursed Arm comes out for SunCommander. PERDO going to go down to that. gerrah and bugzy going to find themselves in base, hanging out. Creatives still alive, though, and the Androxus by himself ain't going to do too much. Even though he's got the Accursed Arm, he's going to have to save that for when his teammates arrive and can back him up.
Meanwhile, though, capture rate starting to tick up. It's over halfway for Torpedo so far. D69, they have to make some ground at some point, and that may have been a Dragon Punch coming through, I think, from bugzy, starting to crack the base open, and here's an accursed arm from Creatives as well, but they're finding nobody as Torpedo disengaged so systematically into these caves that up and in the air ultimate just finds no traction.
What a play as well by spunkii to stay alive, but also what play by Shipa to just keep track of spunkii. He has followed him over here, and now Laizy is trapped between a rock and a grok, and it doesn't look like she wants anything to do with that. She's going to head on back, find herself some headhunter, and though the disengage comes through, what a play by Thiel. He's going to send Shipa back to base, and now it looks like Torpedo, who are definitely being pushed back because of the grok pressure and sustain, are going to have a chance to get back and finish capturing this objective.
It's the environmental hazards coming into play there with the cliff tops introduced on the Temple Isle map. You cannot underestimate the fact that Cassie is so crucial on this map right here because of what she is able to provide. And as a result, kind of basing yourself next to those ledges is just a recipe for disaster. Meanwhile, though, D69 during overtime looked like they've gone for the recap, but I love the fact that spunkii used their Ice Storm on the objective, just setting up anybody for disaster as soon as they walk onto the objective to try and contest.
I mean, that disengage was the play of this moment. I mean, it was the play of this round, essentially, because with Shipa still staying alive, that sustain, that allowed all of his teammates to do what they needed to do. Not only sustain his chain lightning damage on these squishier targets I mean, that's got to be huge, Vox, especially since they have no tank.
Absolutely. I mean, the chain lightning damage is so useful. Everybody otherwise, besides with the exception of your Drogos, is based around single target damage. Now, whilst you have Eevee on the side of Torpedo, yeah, they're still single target. They have AoE. The AoE isn't huge right now. They should be confirming direct hits for that maximum amount of burst. And as a result, being able to chip down everybody piece by piece and all at the same time with that chain lightning is so valuable. Taking that out of the mix, as well as also taking that healing totem out of the mix, enable Torpedo to really win that capture point with ease rather than any difficulty.
And I love PERDO's positioning here as well. Say goodbye, Drogos. No way flying in the air is going to save you from a victor and those iron sights. He's also got Cassie in his sights as well. He's going to retreat to safety. However, I don't know if he realizes that spunkii is lying in wait to get the kill. She's going to be blinking onto him real soon. Eevee ice blocking because of the safety. Doesn't look like a very safe place to stay, but PERDO, just watching his cam right now, you're going to see some really strong grenade bounces. He's found the areas in Temple Ruins to essentially bounce grenades off and ricochet them, so he's hitting targets that are actually concealed by his that he can't reach with his rifle. It's really strong victor play coming out from PERDO now.
And not just that, it's likely to be practice as well. Hold that thought though, Bird looking for a Dragon Punch. This could be the beginning of the end for D69, but no! Actually taken out mid-flight. What a play! Great target prioritization, and also PERDO picking up a ton of headshots as Drogos does actually face straight towards the battle with his head exposed in Dragon Punch there.
Oh, and PERDO with the triple kill by PERDO with the bounce off the grenade to take down Thiel, Laizy, and it looks like another member of Torpedo who's back to base and respawning shortly. But what a play earlier as well. The fact that, gerrah got the kill was not the real storyline there. The script read actually that PERDO hit him with almost all of the DPS from that assault rifle from Victor on the way, and gerrah got the last tap that ended up saving his teammate's life and allowing this defense to look like it is going to be successful. However, Torpedo making their move now, and it looks like Thiel wants to stay alive but can't. SunCommander's in a bad spot. spunkii's still here as well. An ultimate is used. What a poor use of the ultimate on definitely a push that is not going to succeed here, and that is just another waste of that Eevee Ice Storm.
And what do you attribute that to right now? Because we've seen several misplays coming out of this Eevee Ice Storm so far. Is this something going on with spunkii as an individual? Is this a call which the team is backing up? I mean, you know that everybody is dead. You can see that on your HUD with the death timers going down. You can also notice that all of your team is calling out saying, we're dead. Why do you use such a high value ultimate right at the end? And look at D69. They're the ones holding the ultimate discipline right now, as 4 of them remain up and only Scout on gerrah is not available. That'll be up very shortly into the first push. And also we're seeing deft hands picked up on PERDO this time, meaning the reload speed on this Victor will be very short, more bonus damage, and an incredible increase to his DPS.
Yeah, and again, you know, we're seeing the fact that Victor can be such a devastating champion on Temple Isle. He did not do this well on Glacier Keep, but Temple Isle map-specific champions are now coming in alignment, I think, and making themselves clearer and clearer in this meta as we see these professional teams or professional players pick these up that much more. But 29 health, PERDO escapes out of the fight, and now he's going to come back and kill Thiel. I mean, oh my goodness gracious, that could have gone another way entirely.
Oh, and he's still going, but he will be shut down by SunCommander right there as the headshot damage from Androxus at close range dings him for 890 right there repeatedly. Now, the objective is starting to tick up for Torpedo. Let's talk about, once again, Kinessa right here, because we do have some lines of sight available on this map. But as Laizy pushes out towards gerrah, they might be in a bad spot. No save for the team, able to transport it and restore as a result. Is it going to be Laizy that holds this down, or are we going to see some fantastic play maybe come out of Bird this time, just to zone D69 away and go for the win with this cap?
That's a decent ult by Shipa, and you're right. We are seeing Bird do the most damage here, but SunCommander is right on his heels, doing everything he can. Nice reversal, and bugzy's almost going down, but now SunCommander and Bird just together as a tandem duo are too much. They need to get taken down, but we've got the Accursed Arm from Creatives, and we've got the Barrage from PERDO. We know they can clear a point very quickly, but can PERDO stay alive? And that's the question. SunCommander jumps in, and he's going to take him down, and that's Torpedo taking the game and the lead over D69. No chance to use those ultimates. SunCommander cleans it up with the help of Laizy, and Torpedo find themselves ahead in this European battle.
And as you said previously, this one is for all the marbles. Torpedo now hold the advantage. One more game won't actually net them the win. It will net them the equalizer. And then we will proceed to our tiebreaker afterwards. But let's jump to the scoreboard and break things down post-game. And I eat my words. Laizy once again blowing my expectations out of the water with 99,921 damage, 44 eliminations, 14 deaths. You can't underestimate Kinessa, especially not on Laizy.
Jeez. I mean, this is ridiculous. The fact that he is so far ahead of even his own team's carry, beating a Victor by 19,000 damage, and a good Victor at that with PERDO, this is nuts. Somebody needs to stop this man. Laizy is going crazy, and it's paying dividends for Torpedo.
Well, you mentioned that Shipa previously had not done as well on Eevee, trying to dive Kinessa repeatedly on Glacier Keep, but honestly, looking at that stat line right there, it seems that actually Eevee is very, very necessary in order just to try and keep them down. And you know, with Creative subbing in and having so far only played Androxus with no sign of swapping at all, I'm not sure that there's room for an Eevee in D69's composition and champion lineup with all of their players right now. Who do you ask to switch? If it's Shipa, you have no Grok. Then if you have a Grok on the enemy team, you have the healing advantage, and Torpedo could sweep it. So, Rain, any ideas about that?
I think Shipa has done a good job, and I honestly think that both teams have seen their moments where things have gone well and where things haven't. You look at a 3-3 game, and you look at plays like PERDO getting away with 29 health and taking down Thiel. And then, of course, SunCommander gets the kill onto him. I think that most of this game and these dynamics between these two teams have not really been about team comps. It's been about who shows up, who makes the big plays. Right now, Laizy, as we said, is going crazy. We've got SunCommander showing up big time. Bird, 37 and 17. A switch from Ying, which was potentially just a throwaway game because it's no comparison into how well he's doing with this dragon in terms of what he tried to do with all of those illusions. It's just no comparison, and it's almost like they've added another player onto their team. So for me, it's not necessarily about what Shipa chooses. It's, do the plays fall the way of D69, or do they end up falling the way of Torpedo? And that's why it's going to be so exciting as we head into the next match.
Why can't I hold all these plays is what I'm going to close out there with. Either way, the next map up will once again be Glacier Keep, potentially the last game of this set if Torpedo managed to clinch it through and go for the equalization. But if District 69 fight hard enough, they can make it go all the way to 5 games. It'll be a nail-biter either way, and we'll catch that game coming up next. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned for more Paladins action.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the realm. My name is Ray. Joining me today is Vox Tempest. We'll be your casters for this potentially final game of the set, with Torpedo and D69, the European juggernauts, facing off against each other. on the 4th map of the day. It's actually Glacier Keep. Now, Torpedo bring with them the same lineup. Bird on Drogos, Thiel on Cassie, Laizy on Kinessa, SunCommander on Androxus, and Spunkii on Eevee. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're up 2-1. But Vox, some changes going on the side of D69.
Oh, we have a very interesting change. Gerrah will still be on D69 running Cassie, but PERDO this time changing from Victor to none other than Sky. Creative still on Androxus, bugzy on Drogos, because those two have worked out fantastically, and Shipa back on Eevee. Both PERDO and Shipa are just going to be trying to kill Kinessa, because we've both seen how effective Laizy can be in this game so far, and you can see that PERDO actually goes in looking for Bird this time as they run straight into them, but very low is taken down for first blood. That's not what was intended, but kills flying either way potentially. Torpedo looking like they retain the advantage.
Spunkii does get taken down by gerrah, however, who looks to feel much more confident on this Cassie. However, Thiel's got his eyes on him. He's going to have to get around, and he actually catches gerrah on the backside. SunCommander does the work, but bugzy cleans up what gerrah started, and now PERDO's back. And SunCommander, you need to watch out. Sky's got his eye on you, and this damage is for real. He's going to back off. SunCommander and Spunkii looking dangerous, forcing the ice block already. Spunkii's got to guess where Sky is now, and that guess is not going to give him the correct answer, as D69 look to take the point back from Torpedo.
Well, Torpedo, they do have the respawns right now. Actually, what Thiel's doing is very interesting. They've stopped that now. Just firing through the blockaded gate there, trying to get some poke damage. And oh my goodness, Laizy on Kinessa drops a huge amount of damage all across the board. But so far, once again, kills going neither way. Actually, District 69 might be at a deficit here as they start to fall 1-by-1.
Spunkii gets the kill on the creatives, and that is huge, as well as gerrah. Bugsy's the only one alive in the corner, and now D69 is feeling very, very pressured. Of course, the Eevee is here. Spunkii gets out of dodge, but Bugzy, he's not so lucky. He's going to get taken down by Spunkii again as the soar from Eevee gets back on cooldown and allows him access into the roof. Now D69 trying to find their way back, but it looks like Torpedo, they've got the answer to this team comp already.
And so far, there's nobody close enough to make it to the objective. You can see that PERDO on the backside trying to run in at the last moment. Can't really find any traction. They will try and get the assassination off onto Bird, though. But they're quickly just disintegrated right there by the damage. Bird remains alive. Gonna not even fall the damage from Cassie right there. And Torpedo, they have the man advantage going into this choke point hold. They're looking to break it. But actually, with SunCommander falling, it might provide them with a bit of difficulty.
Now, PERDO has been the kind of flashy flavor pick in this match, and he has yet to make any impact. He's immediately gone onto a target and been killed, and now he's looking for someone to go ahead and take out in terms of getting his role done as a carry, but it's just not worked out for him so far. Sky, is it Sky? Is it PERDO? Vox, walk me through this Sky pick and why it's going wrong right now.
Well, honestly, I feel like it's going wrong because all that PERDO seems to do so far is run directly face first. Hold that thought. Nope, can't quite pick up Spunkii actually. But all I'm seeing Sky doing is run face first into Bird, who turns around 1-2 double tap with the rest of the team following up and takes them out, even if they're in stealth with that big area damage. And as a result, I feel like it's more of an issue that PERDO is just running into the wrong targets first and actually running close enough to them to be revealed out of stealth, thereby signing their own death sentence with some of these plays, instead of actually trying to get straight into the backline. But Torpedo are doing a great job at locking off some of the angles. But look at this. PERDO, dead again, just can't find any purchase here.
Every single time. I mean, he's 0-5, and it's just not working for D69. But what is working, I will say, is Laizy's 5 streak, 6-3, and he's got the Haven to boot, so he's not going to take as much damage from the Sky Poison Bolts or the original basic attacks that she would provide with her left mouse button, her wrist crossbow. And so she is not having as big of an impact on any of these champions who actually have been her target so far. Thiel, Laizy, and Bird all picking up Havens.
Meanwhile, look at where the payload is. It is very close to conversion right now. Creative's taken out by Kinessa from behind. That's an embarrassing thing to happen to an Androxus. And right now, all it'll take is a member of Torpedo to be able to jump onto the objective just for a few seconds to start it pushing through. It's going to be Spunkii. Bird's here to support. There's double damage coming out of District 69. They're looking to stall this out. Gerrah has returned creatives as well. This might be the end for Torpedo, but here's some accursed arm coming out of SunCommander, looking for the shutdown. I still don't think it matters, though, as here comes a toxic time bomb from Sky. SunCommander SunCommander gonna perish eventually to the damage coming out of D69, but the return comes through. Thiel dodge rolls right back into the mix. If they can shut down bugzy, it could be all over, but the respawns keep on coming through. I don't think Torpedo have any kind of answer for this, and D69 hold to equalize 1-1 at 5 minutes and 25 seconds into the 4th game this set.
Now, just looking at the mentality PERDO has to have right now, this is where we are going to see, is he the competitor that we think he is? This is where things are rough. I've been in this place many times in my soccer career. Do you keep going? How do you adjust? How do you keep your head up high when you know you're not hitting your shots, when you know things are not working, you're walking out there and getting destroyed? It's just about positioning for me. Vox, tell me how Sky's positioning could be a lot better here and how PERDO can make this pick work so that D69 have themselves a fighting chance.
D69 potentially not going directly for the aggression, waiting for Torpedo to overextend, then slipping around behind them might be an avenue of entry towards Canessa on the backline. Also, not using your toxic time bomb right at the end of a round and finding no kills with it could also be slightly a better utilization of that particular ultimate ability, because we all know how devastating it is. And PERDO, once again, running around the backside on the igloo point, actually has an avenue of entry here, but
Much
finds
more patience.
nobody as... Where's Laizy?
Yeah, he's trying to find Laizy, but I think he's just having more patience. He's not shown himself to any member of Torpedo right now, and I like it. Yes, they're losing their capture points. That's okay. SunCommander is trying to find Sky, though, and he is not taking down anyone from D69. Of course, they've all been taken down already, so maybe that wasn't part of the plan as well. But it looks like he's finally found somebody to shoot, and that's Thiel. Can he stay alive here? This is the important part, and he can't. Unfortunately, Bird takes him down. If PERDO can find a way to stay alive after that initial aggression and put himself in a position to actually still go onto a target separately after that, he might be able to do what he needs to do for this team. It's just the immediate death that's happening and is leading to Torpedo taking this capture point 2-1.
And so far, they've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock to push this payload to completion. Laizy already positioning into an aggressive sniping spot, trying to take advantage of the long lines of sights down this igloo kind of spawn area. You can see up on the high ground, we've got Cassie in the backline dropping some damage, and PERDO round on one side almost found a kill into Thiel, but not able to quite clean things up. And that seems to be the storyline for this Sky, this game, is that we're almost getting there. We're getting a lot of damage off, but not actually cleaning up the kill, which is required to be able to pick up the health nugget, to be able to cause some disruption. And it's just not anywhere near as effective as it really needs to be.
Absolutely. And now it looks like bugzy is in trouble. He's getting taken out by spunkii as well. spunkii goes in, trying to find Shipa. He's got one shot. He's got a blink as well, and he does want to finish that up, but no, he's got a payload to escort, and D69 has nothing to say about it now. The staggered respawns, and of course the ultimate to keep them locked in, but he's got 3 members already out of base. Maybe not the best use of that, but who cares when you're styling this hard as Torpedo? That could come back to haunt him, though, if they find a way to hold out. The SunCommander somehow does get taken down by bugzy. I was going to say he stays alive, and now this is where that Eevee ultimate may have been a little bit rushed.
A little bit too soon, but Eevee doing a lot of damage can reaccumulate that ultimate charge quite quickly. But again, you're right on pointing out that spunkii once again has used the Eevee ultimate a little bit too soon. The payload barely made it through the gates of the base right here in this igloo point, and as a result, it's going to be difficult for Torpedo to really kind of stack up a decent aggressive push without some ultimate charges coming back up. Thiel almost has Scout, but really it's going to come down to SunCommander for me. Find the right accursed arm, or maybe Bird using Dragon Punch to the fullest of its ability, possibly even taking out bugzy, who, as the other Lord of the Skies this patch, is causing significant difficulty for Torpedo.
Well, I just love how Bird is being so dominant in terms of his performances, but in this matchup, we're seeing him still, even though his dominance has been a little bit less in this game, still go ahead and outdo bugzy, who's an 8-8 right now. Bird sitting at 8-6, 2 less deaths. That's a lot of additional damage that he's allowed to get. But PERDO finally getting a kill on the Laizy here. He's got a few, but it's not going to be enough because he's going to go down as well. spunkii blinking in, using his ice block to help secure everything, and the immediate deletion of Gerrah and Cassie. I'm not even sure if Cassie's a playable character anymore. She just got deleted by that damage, and now it's 3-1 in terms of Torpedo's favor heading into this next and potentially final capture point.
I think you better tell somebody to take her off the wiki as she has been thoroughly erased. But let's take a look at the burn cards for potentially, as you said, the last point of this game and potentially the last point of this set as Torpedo. They are at set point right now. The burn cards coming out are as follows. Bird is running Haven and Kronos, which I love, and spunkii, Rejuvenate, and Kronos. Now, we haven't talked a great deal about Rejuvenate on Eevee. Eevee with a lower health pool is actually able to utilize Rejuvenate extremely well, especially with her high mobility, because that's 500 burst healing, and all she has to do is press Q, then press F, and just stay out of combat for a few seconds. Very easy to maximize your sustain using this card on Eevee, and I love it.
Absolutely, and I also think one of the most important aspects of what we're seeing here as PERDO goes down again, no chance with this Eevee coming in with that blink damage, an extra 30% on top of that, is the fact that we're just seeing Creatives, who was so strong, carrying this team on Androxus, looks like he's not having the best game. Vox, is this because Creatives just isn't having a good game, or is this maybe because of the matchup that's not allowing him to be as successful?
It's tricky because, of course, it's easy to forget we're playing with the sub. Actually, hold that thought again as PERDO is able to pick up a kill, which is something we just haven't seen happening so much. But Dragon Punch now coming out of Bird, looking for somebody. Anybody can't find him. Torpedo acting as if this game is already done. And with reference to, and with regards to your question about Creatives, whilst he's playing a lights out Androxus, I'm not sure that Androxus is what is necessary in this game right now. They need backline diving, they need backline disruption. If they had a Buck, do you think potentially that might do a better job against Kinessa? I don't know.
Absolutely. I think the fact that Buck would have been a little bit of a tankier character with some healing, with a little bit more sustain than Skye, who just gets instantly deleted before she can even escape, and all she's got is that smoke. I think Buck would have been a very good choice, but it looks like PERDO made it work. He did a very nice time bomb there and actually used the pressure from time bomb, which made people look at using their movement skills and escape abilities to then go ahead and secure a kill onto Bird. I thought that was a fantastic play. We're finally seeing, I think, PERDO come into his rhythm here as Thiel and Laizy are looking to try and hunt him down, but it does look like they do get the better PERDO there.
Oh, Laizy in a lot of trouble, is able to stay alive momentarily, actually forces out. No, good grief. Shipa forced to disengage back to the objective as it's about to take over, and that will be it. That's all she wrote as overtime ticks down. Torpedo, they take the reverse sweep against D69 from an early first game loss, a complete, where District 69 just wiped the floor with them, and then take it back 3-1. They have tied things up right now, and folks, that means it all comes down to the wire.
And yes, a lot of you who are looking at the scenario here and saying, well, they're tied. What is going on? We have heard internally that at this point, because of what has taken place, Torpedo with the reverse sweep, it is going to be a best of one between Torpedo and D69 to actually determine who comes out as the victor of the summer circuit. Both teams have 4 wins over the weekend, and so this is how it will be decided. It's going to be one heck of a game, and the champion choices are going to be even that more important. No character switching in this one, Vox. It's not that game. You actually have to stick with what you pick, and it looks like I'm not sure Skye is going to be bet on by the side of D69 in this next game. In fact, I probably don't think we'll see PERDO playing Skye for a long time unless she gets a significant buff.
Well, the map pick does come down to a coin flip, folks. So we'll be figuring out what that is next, and we'll update people as soon as possible. I've just had word from the admins as well. We will be going to a 10-minute break after this set has completely ended, as it has just done now, with Torpedo winning, to give the chance for the players to, take a bio break and get ready for what really comes down to a monumental match coming up next. It will be played today. It should be spectated as well, and I can't wait to see what both these teams perform with. But so far, we're talking about picks. We're talking about everything like that. It makes it difficult because currently there is no answer for Laizy's Kinessa coming out from D69. This is the pocket pick which we've been expecting and haven't seen since the first couple of weeks of CB30, CB31, and I am so excited to see it back. And I am just... Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think this is where you start to miss PERDO being on Androxus, and you start to miss Elven Path being able to go into the Buck. I think this is where you really miss that. And you got to say that's a little bit unfortunate. We've seen this happen throughout the summer circuit. I mean, it's an 8-week event. These teams have been showing up. And last week we had SunCommander, who had to unfortunately leave early. D69, ended up taking that. And now we see Torpedo here with their full lineup, and obviously not having D69 with their lineup. I mean, Could you say that this thing could have been over last week potentially had things not gone different? You never know, but it's a very, it's the dynamic when you have one of these long events and everybody has to show up and, put the priority there and make sure that, things don't go wrong. And if they do, I mean, that is unfortunately part of this business with computers. They don't always work correctly. In a moment, we'll be heading over into the next match, and stay tuned. We'll tell you exactly when and how that's going to be taking place in just a sec. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, champions of the realm, for the best of one to decide who is the champion of Europe. It all comes down to this. Can you perform when you need to? They brought their best lineups onto the battlefield, and sometimes, now I can say, even their best roster. Creatives have been dropped, and Elven Path is back, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the Fernando, and on the side of D69, they'll finish it off with Shipa on the Grok. PERDO back on his famous Androxus. Watch out. Bugzy is going to be on the Eevee. No Drogos this time, and gerrah on the Cassie. And of course, my name's Rainy. I'm joined by Fox Tempest. Tell us who Torpedo brought back to the lineup.
Well, Torpedo, they got Thiel still on Cassie, Bird on Drogo, SunCommander on Androxus, Laizy on Kinessa, and spunkii on Eevee. It's great to be the afterthought, but hey, this game was very nearly an afterthought as D69 took an early first game in that last set. Torpedo coming back with a reverse sweep. First blood already? Good grief.
Hurrido's like, thank God I'm on this Androxus. Finally, I can do my thing. He's got the reversal. He hits it. Oh my goodness gracious, 863 damage. Shipa takes down Laizy. gerrah is going to help it out, but Shipa takes down Bird as well. Thiel finally ends the Grok's totem stream of just annihilating enemy players on Torpedo, and finally PERDO will fall at the hands of spunkii. But so far, with Elven Path on the point, there's been no contest here from Torpedo.
Exactly. You can see spunkii kind of dancing around, looking for an opportunity to hit past that shield, just finding nothing. Contest from spunkii is good for the time being. Elven Path's shield is down. He's in a lot of danger, has to retreat, but he's actually going to be, nice as ninepence, safe as always. And although Torpedo, they're starting to take trades back in their favor. District 69, they're already at 83, 87, 90 points on the cap. This is going to D69 in a complete sweep already. They take the first point this game, look for the conversion, and oh my god, it feels good to be back.
They take the first point, and PERDO takes 3 kills in a row. He's feeling good on that Androxus. That revolver's feeling nice and warm in his hand already. Ready to go ahead into battle as Laizy could be the next victim. 1 shot, 2 shot, looking for the third. Nice nether step over onto the head of Laizy. The transporter's going to put him right back into danger, but he's got his buddy Bird on the Drogos looking to deny. But it doesn't matter because PERDO takes him down. Thiel from the backhand side. He's going to do his thing as the Cassie and end PERDO's rampage. But wow, oh wow, it must feel good to be PERDO.
Oh, absolutely, and it feels good to be Elven Path. Just heard the VET come out there as well, and he dives in looking for kills alongside Shipa, running the tag team duo of Fernando and Grok, something which we've come to love across previous patches, although an Ice Storm is dropped in the objective. Look at that, Healing Totem is going to keep everybody alive. I love the play which is coming out of D69 right now. They're so coordinated. Their full roster back in action is certainly something to be terrified of if you're Torpedo, because it looks like conversion is only moments away.
And it looks like they've just got the gang back together again. And it's not a crappy rerun. It's not a bad remake. It is what we always wanted and always intended. Elven Path and Shipa together with the healing and the health sustained from Fernando. Of course, with the shield blocking and mitigating so much damage, allowing so many damaging abilities. And especially the focus from Laizy to be negated when you're standing behind that Fernando shield. Those snipes become so much less dangerous. It's just working so well for D69 having their main man back in the roster.
Kinessa's just a complete non-factor with a Fernando around. You have that shield, you shield your team, and exactly then, nobody can contest. Payload pushes through 2-0 lead in under 4 minutes for D69. I would say that the boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town. Oh yeah, it's about to be happening. There is some singing, but Torpedo, they have a mind of their own. They don't want this to take place, and yes, a new map, although they did get aggressed on very heavily. Expect to see some wreckers, expect to see some cauterizes coming out from them to stop all of this and make sure that they can go ahead and get themselves back into this game. There's a lot of money riding on this, Vox, and so they're going to want to put their best foot forward here, and how exactly should they do that?
Well, they're gonna need to pick up a lot of wreckers to make light work of that Fernando's shield, but in doing so, they have to sub in cauterizers as well because the Grok to provide anti-healing against. Thiel goes for that Chronos card to increase or decrease the cooldowns of Cass's abilities, meaning they can chain rolls together. But meanwhile, look at all the Haven picks on the other side. We've got 4 Havens for D69 and 3 instances of Chronos. D69 are just completely over the moon in terms of credits right now. And whilst a great fire spit from Bird comes through, look at PERDO, Accursed Arm dropping the damage. I think it's going to be reversal. He does actually get taken out. This could be the turnaround for SunCommander.
And it looks like they have found a way back. The Accursed Arm, however, going to be wasted except to kill Bugzy. But Fernando, he's still alive. And wow, that charge distance. How come he's charging so far, Fox?
Well, he's running a specific card in his loadout, and I'll pull it up on the screen and read it out for you all at home who potentially don't want to be distracted from the action. It's called Launch 4. Increase the distance of charge by 100%, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's like you're on skis. You just go shooting across the map, and it allows him to get out of danger and chase down enemies very quickly. Actually, Immortal coming out of Elven Path as the combo damage comes through, as Eevee's Ice Storm keeps everybody locked into place, but it's not enough for the kill, as that Immortal will keep not just him, but the rest of the team safe, and he's providing so much support for the team, as well as so much unparalleled aggression.
And now, with the Grok Totem, Immortal was not necessarily there to save a life, or just it was to stall time. It was to allow that life to be saved, not just to die eventually, but to have Grok get back into the battle and heal him up to full, and that's exactly what took place. Shipa coming in with that pro support play, just doing everything that his team needs. 9 assists so far, only second to gerrah on the Cassie, who's 9, 2, and 10, having a field day on the Huntress.
But what's more important is that Elven Path just hasn't died. He's on a 10 streak right now with that 3-0-7 slash line. And if he keeps this up, it'll just keep on extending. Still the 10 streak. Fireball a little bit off the mark right there, but D69 have wiped Torpedo. Torpedo have to push through as a group right now. They have no shield to hide behind. They have no protection. They have no tank. There's no way for them to store the payload. They underestimated District 69 as they didn't know that Elven Path would potentially be back right here. And they forgot that, hey, maybe it's a good idea to run a protector in this meta. Maybe that is going to be a valuable thing for us to do. They do stall for the time being, but with 1 minute and 30 left on the clock, look where the payload is. Barely meters from conversion.
It's going to take one strong push, Fox. That's all they need. Now, ultimates are available. 4 on the side of D69, and none except Laizy's Headhunter, which is very specific, and she's already been shut down quite a lot. This Kinessa in this battle is on the side of Torpedo, but D69, the Accursed Arm comes out, and it's wasted because PERDO gets taken out in the air. That was a huge play, and if they can get a kill, it's going to matter a lot more. Thiel, however, takes down Shipa, but gerrah takes down Thiel in response, so no Cassie to stop it. Bird is the only one left, but he's not going to do much. Spunkii's going to stall, and that's a good tactic for now, but the damage is going to be too much for her to stay around, even with the cripple handing it on to Elven Path. But SunCommander comes, applies the damage, and Fernando goes down.
And now it's a reversal as Ice Storm dropped, this time by, it's going to be bugzy in the backline. It finds 1 kill from that, but D69 being wiped. Torpedo with the respawn proximity are putting up a great defense so far. We're starting to see Fernando not quite as effective as we might have hoped, but that's because he's been picked off in combination plays by Torpedo, not just the 1v1s which we've seen previously. And Bird, likely to fall here, will be sent back to base if hit by one more shot, taken out of the skies, and Torpedo have to find some quick answer for the massive deficit they're at just in terms of numbers.
I mean, the fact that they are still running the same team composition here has been the biggest problem. They did not expect the Elven Path Fernando to come in. They have no way to take him down fast enough, and by the time he is able to survive and keep his push alive, keep his team alive with Grok support, the other members of D69 have respawned, and now the...
Well, you know, they should have invested in the currency of Fernando, I think, Torpedo, as they are unable to buy anywhere near as much time as Elven Path. They do successfully, with the respawn proximity, keep the payload in overtime for the time being. And shout out to spunkii, just taken out with a headshot right there, but doing phenomenal work just to keep that payload contested from moving any further forwards. And that will be it. The equalization, or rather the defense play, will succeed. Torpedo get themselves on the board, but it's 3-1 right now. District 69 hold all the cards. They can drop a point capture and conversion, or 2 straight up point captures and still win.
And it looks like there is a chance. There's a hope that has been built, a fire that you could say has been lit under Torpedo here, defending, and they are finally jumping around in spawn, excited that they finally made things happen, and a lot of it, I think, has to do with Laizy's play at the end with the Headhunter ultimate, activating the extra damage and getting the double kill there. That was a very strong defense by them, but we'll have to see how it happens as they head out to this next point. Both teams trying to size each other up. A flank could be happening. Vox, what's the best approach here if you're Torpedo to get yourself continually back into this game and win this capture point?
Honestly, not get poked out straight like that. It's already Knessa is down, and there's Yakursam coming out of none other than PERDO, taking out Bird straight out of the skies. Thiel under pressure as bugzy dives in deep as well. Should clean it up with the ice stuff. Thiel somehow still alive, being chased around the entire map. It's absolutely no contest. When it comes down to point pressure, nobody can match Fernando. When it comes down to the flanks coming out, nobody is quite as precise and quite as rapid as PERDO, and he keeps on picking up kills. Boxing out versus SunCommander. The relocation is just too much. He nether steps, shoots, and nether steps again, keeping him mobile, keeping him devastatingly strong.
And spunkii going to try and come in onto the fight. But again, you're fighting against PERDO. You're fighting against an unkillable Fernando right now. It is just so tough. And this is almost the end of the game. You see ultimates here on the side of SunCommander, but Bird goes down, so no Dragon Punch available. And that's going to do it. D69. They get themselves the win, the victory. They are the EU Championship champions. And that is going to do it on this side of the world. D69 claiming victory, putting Torpedo in their place, apparently. And things working out, having Elven Path back in the game.
I mean, the boys are back in town. Let's look at the scoreboard to our final post-game breakdown for the EU Paladins Summer Circuit. And before we go any further, I gotta say something, and that is none other than GG. What a comeback. What a turn of events. This has been such an incredible storyline. To be at a deficit with Elven Path's computer just breaking and then somehow managing to pull it back in to dumpster Torpedo in that final game in 4-1 style. I've never seen anything like it.
It was something that I don't think anyone expected Elven to be back. It almost was like the perfect bait. I don't know if they planned this all along, but the fact that Elven jumped in with that Fernando, you know, they had to play this huge best of 5 without it. I mean, anyone would have been caught off guard by that, I think. And the way setups go here, you really have to just go in with the comp you think can win against the most scenarios. But unfortunately, Torpedo's comp really didn't have enough shield pressure to really take down a Fernando or force him off the point and secure that kill well enough with the champions they were running. Their champions were absolutely dominant against EVs, Skies, Victors, but in terms of a Fernando, it just didn't work. It wasn't there and it wasn't ready, and you have to say that it was just a really good champion selection. Not necessarily even outplays. It was just a fantastic champion selection by D69.
And that's such an important part of the game. Currently, with just blind pick available to these people, it is all about the guessing game. It is all about knowing your opponent inside out and trying to out-predict them and counter them. And ultimately, Torpedo sticking with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, getting broken by the incredible weight of Fernando plowing down upon them. And even look at this, bugzy on Eevee, almost unnecessary. Only 806 credits, everybody else in game breaking 1,000 because there was just no contest on the objective, as you said. Damage numbers on Torpedo, though, are relatively consistent across the board. They all perform lights out. I'm going to agree with you. Outdrafted, outpicked, not necessarily outplayed.
Right. I mean, it's different too, Vox, because, you know, as the game develops, we will be getting picks, and there is the potential to be I would say potentially outdrafted depending on how that system works. So this is an element of the game that's always been there. Because these teams are so few and far between in terms of being at the same level at the highest end of competitive, it's starting to get closer. But we've seen kind of Torpedo and D69 set themselves apart, be scrim partners. You know, they've known each other's metas, matchups. They've been able to find out what they're going to do. And so they usually always have a pretty good counter to what's going to be brought out. So it's never this huge surprise. Even the take meta, people knew how to deal with it and knew it was coming before it even came. But now, considering the fact that, you know, Elven was supposed to not be available and all of a sudden shows up with this Fernando that's just unkillable, it was too much for Torpedo to handle. But they played lights out. I mean, you got to say Torpedo in that best of 5 was absolutely stellar. They showed some incredible plays over the summer circuit, Vox. And so not taking anything away from them, this has been a fantastic tournament.
It has been lights out, the best Paladins tournament so far, and we've seen it come down, as we said, to the wire today. It couldn't have been any more perfect. Now, as far as placement goes, there was $10,000 available to all players in the European and North American regions each. So it wasn't a case of, it was 20k overall rather than 10k split between 2 regions. And the standings then will be as follows. D69, they are at first place, Torpedo in second, and if I am not mistaken, none other than Paradigm, who are unable to play today due to being unable to field a player, still having such a dominant performance through the rest of the summer circuit that they secured themselves the 3rd place. GG to everybody who was involved. We thank all of you for turning up and watching these games. We thank all of the players also for taking part, because we've seen teams come, teams go, and teams rise from nowhere. And it makes me so excited for the next season of Paladins Competitive to come about, because we know that it's only going to get closer. It's only going to get more competitive, and it's going to have, the tension is just going to get so much more ramped up.
Absolutely. It's going to be a blast. And of course, stay tuned for tomorrow. We've got North America. That thing is wrapped up on the side of who's going to take first, but second, that I believe is most likely in contention for Eager. But there are a lot of teams there that are going to be battling it out to see that 3rd and 4th place. And of course, showing improve over the weeks of playing CB32 and no patches happening. We're potentially going to see a lot of teams, continuing to get more comfortable and develop and, bringing potentially new members into the, into the field in the near future. So the competitive scene for Paladins is only growing. It's only getting better. And North America has got a great showcase of some fantastic players as well, who you'll be seeing soon. Of course, for the future of Paladins Competitive, you'll have to stay tuned. There should be some announcements coming up soon for what is going to be coming up, but I will say that there are some definite plans that are going to be acted on very soon. That is the intention. That is the hope. When we know more, we will release that and we can officially confirm it. But we're excited for what's coming up, and all of you competitive players or who want to be competitive, you're going to have a chance to shine, a chance to make your mark in the community and in the competitive scene. So I'm excited for CB33. Some crazy changes, some fun ones coming up. But I'm also excited just for this community to continue growing as this game starts to reach, the next stages of, open beta and all that good stuff.
It's going to reach the next level at some point, of course. Big shout out and thank you to Paladins World for making this possible. We've had Dave and Kenneth, who are Only Light and Facey, and your Paladins World founders and admins behind the scenes as your administrators for the tournament, and your production crew enabling us to bring you the highest quality of broadcast we can potentially have to offer. You can find them on Twitter at Paladins World, as well as their personal accounts, which will drop in chat in just a second. My name's been Vox.